Welcome to another episode, everyone. Let me get right into it. The Treyway6k situation, which I believe should be my last video on this situation unless some new information arises and some information that is pertinent that I feel like I must bring my viewers. Something that is relevant regarding the situation. I do, however, now want to clarify a few things about the situation. I read the comments. Some people were really not happy about what happened with Treyway6k. Let me say this real quick, and then I'm gonna get off of the topic because I don't want to, exploit the situation for views or whatever. This is a serious situation. Many people got stabbed up in this situation. Actually, now someone in the comments was saying that, man, you told the same story as Aunt Hefe. You took Aunt Hefe's content. Man, you dude's weird. I'm from Hoover, bro. I literally talk to a Hoover nearly every day. On the days I don't talk to him just because I'm not up to it. A lot of these individuals I talk to are in prison. I left prison. I talk to Big Trey Soldier all the time. I left him on the yard, bro. I talk to people on the phone, people who are involved in this stuff. I don't need my information from anyone, particularly as it relates to something involving a Hoover. You're making no sense. You're making absolutely no sense. Now, if we had some of the same content, sometimes we run some of the same content, and we're in the same sort of genre for the most part. And even though I, of course, run all kinds of different content, and perhaps we got the same story, not from the same person. I personally talked to someone on the phone last night that's in prison for over an hour on FaceTime. And we were going over the whole situation. I don't need to get my content from anyone as it relates to something like this in particular, at any rate. Now, to clarify a couple of things with the Treyway6k situation. People were saying, well, what's going to happen with the individual that took his phone? Like, that's a jailhouse thief, and he should be considered a jailhouse thief. The individual who lied and said that the phone was taken by the police. But this is also why I've been trying to tell you individuals that the gang culture is just not what it's cracked up to be. It's not what y'all think it is. Even in prison, these rules in the culture is not what you think it is. It's not what it is supposed to be. It's not what it once was. That's the bottom line. Nevertheless, they do have rules and protocols in prison that no one is bigger than. Everyone has to follow them. I had to do the same thing. And the situation is, the issue was, as far as the individuals that I spoke to, and let me make it clear, they're not sure exactly what happened either. They only going off of what they're, only people that really know are the people, or Treyway6k and the individual that was in the cell with him when the altercation transpired, as far as him screaming and all of this. The issue in my mind would be, and you may think this is just semantics, but this is just what it is. Was he screaming when the dude was stabbing him, or did he start screaming when he was done stabbing him and he's down and he's bleeding and he feels like he's about to bleed out? You know when you're about to die, you can feel it. I've been in those situations more than once. Your body's getting weak, what have you, in and out of consciousness or whatever. Because if he was screaming while the dude was stabbing him, that's not good, especially if you stabbed him first. Now you start screaming when the dude is stabbing you. But if you're down there dying and, the fight is over, the situation is a wrap for the most part. Now you're just down there bleeding on the floor and you're thinking you're about to die. Someone asked me, well, what would you do in that situation, big fella? I would do the same thing that Treyway6k did. I'd scream for help, 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 help. In fact, with both hands, help. The hell? What I'm supposed to do? Sit there and die? If I think I'm about to, I need medical attention. I need medical attention now. No way. No. Now, if the dude is stabbing me, I'm not going to be screaming for help. I got to just try to hound that. It's a difference. But once the situation is, and I'm down there bleeding, I think I'm about to die. Yeah. Hell yeah. But see, the issue is people are going to say, or people are going to believe, at least behind the wall, that it's a form of snitching, when you call the police for help, even for medical help or whatever. Because, especially in a situation like that. Now, had Treyway6k been on the yard, let's say, or anywhere in the day room, whatever, in the chow hall amongst other people and got stabbed, and no one seen who did it, and then he went to the police and said, I need medical help, he leaking. That's one thing, that's different. Many people have done that in that situation. But once you're inside of a cell and you call for help, it's like you're telling on your cellie. Because who else is in prison? It's not like the county jail. In prison, it's just you and it's two people to a cell. That's it. So who did it? A ghost? It was either a ghost or it was you. It was your cellie that stabbed you up. Even though that's not always the case. Someone can run in your cell, hit you up real quick, and run out. And if you sitting there and die, they putting it on your cellie. It wasn't even him. Because they're saying, who else did it? There's only y'all two in here, sort of thing. So if he's screaming for help and the police come and he has all these stab wounds, then they're saying, he just told on your cellie. You just said that your cellie stabbed you up. You brought the police to the situation. You brought the police to the cell with stab wounds on you that only your cellie could have administered. So it's a form of snitching as far as they're concerned. Now, again, I'm just explaining what the politics are in prison. You can agree, you can disagree. That's fine. I don't agree with all of them. I heard someone say in the comments, man, you should change the politics to where a certain individual only gets a DP, a discipline for certain things, not lose his whole career, a stand tall individual. I agree. Understand, and understand when I'm telling you, bro, it's all, this is what has been conveyed to me. I'm not there. I'm not in prison. I wasn't in the cell. I don't know exactly what happened. I do know, what was told to me as far as I could relay some more information, but I'm not going to do it right now until I know for sure. As far as they're saying, the homie was saying a couple of individuals may have been hating on him. And some individuals who didn't want to do this, who didn't feel like he really did anything wrong. He got a lot of love for him, that whole thing. And like, no, that's the homie, that's the bro, or whatever. But politics just overrode everything, bro, basically. So it's a lot of that. I know why he got into it with Lil Porky sometime back. All of that stuff, bro. I know what's going on in the situation. Again, I'm not going to get into everything, but I do want to let y'all know the real about what's going on. And again, or at least what I'm hearing, because again, I'm not there. The person that I spoke to was not there, but he knows what's going on. He's in prison. He knows what's going on with this situation. He broke it all down for me, bro. As I said, a lot of it makes sense. But I'm just letting you all know, because, again, I read the comments and some people was, man, damn, he one of y'all, he like the face of Hoover. He one of the real homies, and understand this, that this would have happened, and I'm not here to defend the Hoovers, but I'm just here to get you to understand the politics in prison. Any car this would have happened to, anyone. It's not the Hoovers, or the Hoovers turned on their own boy, the Hoovers turned on him. If it would have been a blood, bro, it would have been the same situation. If it would have been a neighborhood, they would have had to get him off the yard. They would have had to have gotten him off the yard, whether you agree with that or not. Based on the same scenario, they would have had to did the same thing. Or else, now, there may be some cars that would not have done it, but they're going to be frowned upon. They're going to be looked at as weak, as a joke. They're not a real gang. They're not a big gang. They're not pushing no real politics. Y'all have no say-so on this, y'all. No nothing. But any, like real gang, any gang with a reputation, any car behind those walls that wants their respect or whatever, they're gonna rectify that sort of situation, bro. Again, whether you agree with it or not, I don't agree with everything. And I don't agree with everything that transpired there. But I'm not in prison. I can't push in line. I wish it would have been handled different on so many different levels. Not just the ending, all kind of his phone coming up missing, all kind of stuff, man. None of this stuff seems right. None of this stuff smells right to me. But again, the lesson here is just stay out of prison and stay out of this gang shit. Stay out of the gang culture. Stay out of these gang politics in prison. It's not worth it, bro. You put in all this work, you stand tall, and then, like I say, it take you 20 years to build your reputation and 20 seconds to lose it. Spent your whole life, your whole career standing tall and doing the right thing, and then boom, it's all down the drain with one ill-advised decision or whatever, or just the culture itself takes you under. So it's not worth it. You gave your life, you'd have been loyal to something that in the end is not going to be loyal to you. That's the bottom line. That's the point here. That's the lesson. And again, I can't say too much more than that. Again, everyone has their opinion as to what happened, as to whether or not it should have happened. And I get that. Treyway, he really didn't go out like that. He hit the yard, got off the bus, hit the yard, and he got off. Already knowing what's about to happen, already knowing what's coming. He didn't have to go in the yard. He could have said, I'm going PC right now. Talking about he hooping and hollering and screaming in the cell. Okay, he could have went PC right then. But instead, he like, nah, he got off the bus with a thing and used it. You know what I mean? So, hey, it's just at that point, yeah, since he's the target, since they, individuals feel like he did something wrong, that he's the one that flouted the rules and the protocols, and they are not about to allow him to sit there and put down a demonstration and perform, and make the other individual who hasn't done anything wrong look bad. No, they converged on him and got him. Again, whether you agree with that or not, that is the situation. That is what happened. The individual that took his phone, to me, he's a jailhouse thief. To me, he needs to be DP, but this is the sort of thing that happens. They don't see that as stealing. But it is. Because you got something that doesn't belong to you. And then, now, if you say, it's a situation, I'm about to bring this story to you. I was just talking to the homie about this last night. That happened in Centinela with some dudes from Compton and dudes from Grape Street. They got into it over this phone. But the dude from Grape, he took the phone. He told me, I ain't giving it back. That's different. If you take the phone and then say, I don't have it, the police got it, and you're lying, that's stealing. You're a jailhouse thief. If you tell a dude, give me this phone, I'm keeping this. You tell him that to his face, that ain't stealing. You just, he got to handle that. What's up? I'm keeping this. What's up? Okay. But if you say, oh man, the police got the phone, I don't have it, bro, I ain't got it, and you do got it the whole time, you're no good. As far as I'm concerned, that's not how it's always looked at in prison. So this individual may get away with that. I don't feel like it should. This is really what set a lot of this stuff in motion. But I can't be out here on the street politicking prison politics, bro. What's happening in there? I'm done with that shit in there. I'm just bringing you the information about what's going on in there. And I'm only bringing you what's already on the internet. I could have broke this situation or whatever. I'm not putting the stuff out there. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it anyway, but it's already out there on the internet, so I'm speaking on it. So I'm a content creator, something that's already out there. That's it. But I have to be careful with what I say and do as well, bro. Hopefully y'all understand that. But there you have it, man. I just wanted to clarify that. I got my own content. I got my own sources, my own people. I can talk to individuals today, multiple, and get some more information, man. I only had to work for that. They called me with it. So I don't know. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation. That's why I say, you got to stay out, got to stay free. And again, what I would have done in that same situation, and I would have suffered the same fate, though, as Treyway. I would have did the same thing. If I'm keeping it real, if I'm being honest, if I'm sitting there leaking, thinking I'm about to die, it's looking like I'm about to die, man, hell to the no. What you mean? I'm not snitching on you, bro. I'm not trying to snitch on anyone. But I am trying to save my life. You weren't trying to kill me, were you? You don't want a murder charge. You wasn't trying to kill me. I came in here and I stabbed you. You did what you had to do. You took the knife from me, or you had your own knife, however it went. I don't know. I wasn't in the cell. Different stories as to what happened. But whatever. You got the knife. You have a knife and you stabbing me with it. Okay. You didn't attack me first. You didn't have a hit on me. You wasn't trying to kill me. You don't want me to die in here, do you? Well, maybe so, because I just stabbed you, but I don't know. But, man, nah. And I ain't trying to snitch on you. And if you think I'm trying to snitch on you, my bad. I'm sorry. When I heal up, that'll be about the time you getting your ass up out the hole, because that's probably where you're going, because I'm calling for the police. Get me the medical. Patch me up. I'm sorry. When you get out the hole, we gonna handle it then. I'm gonna holler at you anyway. I'm hoping I survive this so I can holler at you anyway. But in the meantime, it is what it is. In the meantime, hey, help! The fuck? Yeah, straight up. Stay safe and stay free, people.